Hey guys, Mr. Decker here once again. We are on Bubble 8 of Lesson 3, the Circuit Playground. This is in Unit 6 of Physical Computing on Code.org. Okay, so this bubble says LED apps. In the last level, you made an app to control the LED with different buttons on the screen. And in the next two levels, you're going to see some examples of apps, and then you're going to have a chance to make one of your own. And as you look at the examples, just kind of think of what code might be useful for the app that you want to make. So let's move on. Let's go to Bubble 9. Put on a light show. So let me hide my answer real quick. Okay. So putting on a light show. This app lets you put on a light show with the LED. So I want you to look at the code and answer the following question. What does this line of code do? So it's looking at, in particular, the set property screen. So we're changing the screen on the app. The property we're changing is the background color, and it's going to change it to a random RGB value. RGB values run from 0 to 255, and since it's using this random number block, let me get myself out of the way. Since it's using this random number block, right, you see that up here, you can see that in the workspace as well. What that does is this is red, this is green, this is blue. It's going to randomly assign a value within the range of 0 to 255 for the red value, the green value, and the blue value. So every time you click, right, the LED on the circuit playground is going to turn on, and the background color is going to change. So, and that's that on button right there, right? So it's primarily just asking you what this is going to do. Let me move myself. It likes to be right there, I guess. So let me scroll down just a little bit. Once you have answered the question, then run the code, click the buttons to see what happens. So when I run it, I'll click on. If I click pulse, if I click off, if I click blink, right? Every time I click it, it's assigning that random RGB value to change the color of the background screen. So if you're like me, it will change colors, right? You've got your answer there. So every time we click that on button, this code right here, set property screen background color to these random RGB values. If I click, well, let me show this, right? If I click off, it changes that background color, and that LED has turned off. Turn it back on, turn it off, on, off. And it's going to be a random color every time, right? It's not going to set it to a specific color because we told it not to. We told it specifically to change it to a random color with each button we press. Blink makes it blink. At an interval of 200, and pulse makes that little LED pulse at a 200 interval, right? Turning it back off. Okay, cool. So that app works. We understand how it works. Finish, continue. Bubble 10. All right, again, hiding my answer real fast. Whoop. Catch the mouse. This is a clicker game similar to the one that you built in the last lesson. Remember the little smiley face? Look at the code with your partner and answer the following question. How many times do you think you need to click the mouse before the LED will start to blink? Write your answer in the box below, then run the code and see what happens. So let's look at the code here. So on line 1, we're setting up a variable we're calling it score, and at the beginning of our program, the score gets 0. So when we start the program, the score is 0. And at the start of the program, the LED on the circuit playground is going to be off. And then on event mouse, that's the mouse on the screen for the app, every time you click that, a bunch of stuff is going to happen here. So we've got a lot of things happening every time we click the mouse on the screen. So it sets the properties, or set the property of the mouse's X value to a random number between 0 and 200. So it's going to move to a random X position within that range. And then setting the property of the mouse's Y value, or Y position, to a random number between 50 and 350. Remembering that X changes where it's located left and right. Y changes where it's located up and down. So every time I click the mouse, like that smiley face that we made in the previous lesson, the mouse is going to go to a random spot. Also, every time we click on the mouse, this score variable is tied to this. Score gets score plus 1. So every time we click on the mouse, the score is going to go up by 1 point. And then we have an if statement. This is also called a conditional. If the score is less than 10, let's read that again, because obviously I did not read that correctly. If score is greater than 10, then it sets the property message text to say you win. Okay. And then it turns the LED on. Okay. Else if, right? So this is an if then else conditional. If the score is greater than 5, then the LED is going to blink at an interval of 200. So basically what we can decipher from this is that this mouse is going to move every time we click it. It's going to add 1 point to my score every time I click on the mouse. If the score is more than 10, then it's going to put text on the screen that says you win. And that's the message up here. I know that because the ID is message when I hover over it. So this text up here, instead of saying click on the mouse, it's going to say you win when my score is 11 or more, right? So greater than 10. Once my score becomes more than 5, so 6 or more, then the LED on the circuit playground is going to blink. So let's run. So make sure you put in your answer, right? Which you're answering the question, how many times do you think you need to click the mouse before the LED starts to blink, right? We discovered that once the score is greater than 5, so 6 or more, that LED is going to blink. So let's run it. Let me make myself bigger here. Woo! So you can see this really well. And so when I click on the mouse, he moves to a random X and Y within that range that was set in the code right here. Oh, and you know what? I forgot to start counting. So I'm going to reset and run. So 1 click, 2 clicks, 3 clicks, 4 clicks, 5 clicks. Still not blinking. 6 clicks. Now it's blinking. So let's see if when we get to 11 clicks on the mouse, that it tells us you win up here at the top. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You win. Okay, cool. And looks like the LED is just on now instead of blinking. So let's try this again. So right now that LED is off. Click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the LED is blinking. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We get the you win message, and we're no longer blinking. It's just on. That's pretty neat. So let's finish. Can't even see my continue button. Continue. We're on bubble 11. All right, on bubble 11, make your app the screen. Oh, let me get rid of this actually, because you're starting with nothing here. So go back to code so that your screen looks like mine. All right, make your app the screen. Now, you and your partner can make your own app using the LED. I know that says your partner, but you're going to be making your own app. Discuss what kind of app you want to make. So be thinking about what kind of app you want to make. I'm going to make my own app. I want you to make your own app with your own ideas. So do this. We're going to get some screen elements out here on our app. So we need to go into design mode. And in design mode, we're going to add the elements to make sure we give each one a meaningful ID. And that's going to help out later. So I'm going to use image icons. So I'm going to put 4 images out here. There's one. We'll just put it there. And let's decide what that's going to be. I'm going to make this one a heart. Right? And so in my design toolbox down here, I'm going to go down to the image and choose an image, icons, and let's use the heart. Okay. Right now we'll just leave it as a black heart. And then I think that's all I want to do with it for now. I'm going to add another image. And let's find something in the icons that we want to use. So choose icons. I think I'm going to use a star. So we've got our heart and we've got a star down here. Let's choose 2 more icons. So another image, we'll put it here. I think for this one, I'm going to do another icon, and it's going to be a check. Okay. And then one more image icon. And again, right, this is just me kind of thinking off the top of my head or off the cuff, right? So I'm just coming up with this on the fly. So choose icons. Let's see. I've got a check on there, so why not use an X? Okay. Did I name all of these? No. So image 2 is going to be my star. The check is going to be a check. And the X, should we just, no, I don't want to call it X because we have X properties. So I'm going to say, okay, here we go. We'll change our naming conventions here. So I'm going to say right. And over here, I'm going to say wrong. Good. Okay, so we've got that built out. Now let's go back to our code tab. Right, we've got no code here, but we've followed the instructions. In design mode, add the elements, making sure you give each a meaningful ID. So we added our elements, the heart, the right, the wrong, and the star. Let's run it. It works. Everything's there, so let's finish. Whoop. Okay, keep working. Uh-oh. The internet is having a bad time right now. Okay, so well, it did save it. So run, finish. All right, so apparently we've just got to have some code out here for it to let us move on. So We'll throw an on event out here and then finish. No, it still doesn't like that. All right, reset. Run. Finish. Now we'll continue. Okay. So for those of you out there, you've got to have something there on bubble 11 apparently, even though it doesn't ask you to put any code in, right? Let's look at it again. Yeah. So bubble 12. Make your app the code. Next, you'll need to add the code that makes this app work. So we're going to figure out what we want this thing to even do, because right now we just added some icons out here. We're going to have some events, and in code mode, we're going to add the code that's going to make it work. All right. So on event, heart, click. And what we're focused on right now is getting our programming to communicate with our board. Okay, so under UI controls, we've got an on event for heart. Let's do an on event for the star. We'll do an on event for right, and we'll do an on event for wrong. Remembering right and wrong, right? Let's give ourselves room to work here. And let's see, let's go ahead and add some set properties. So I'm going to have to, in my UI controls drawer, well, obviously you've got a lot of stuff here, right? But we're just going to focus on two of these drawers for the moment. We're going to have the circuit and UI controls, where we've got the on event and the set property. And set property, you're going to have to scroll down to find right here. We'll go ahead and put a set property into each one of our events. So we're controlling the heart, we're controlling the star, the right, the wrong. And I'm actually going to have several set properties in each of my event handlers. But for now, I want to change the colors of these. So set property, on click, we're going to change the icon color to red. Perfect, it's already set. So for the star icon color, I want it to be yellow. For right, the icon color, when I click it, I want it to turn green. For wrong, the icon color, I want it to be red. Yeah, so when I run it, let's just test this. So heart, check, or right, wrong, star. All right, so that works. Reset. Make this a little bigger so we can see it a little better. Let's do some more set properties. So, well, let's actually go to the circuit board. So for the circuit drawer, when we click the heart, I want the LED to pulse. When we click the star, I want it to blink. Okay. And for right, we're going to tell the LED, we're going to turn the LED on. And for wrong, do I want it to turn off? Do we want it to toggle? Let's see. So LED on, and let's see if I can change the color of the LED. I don't know if I can. Let's go into set property and see if there's anything. here. No. Okay. So let's try just testing it, right? Run. Show you the board, make this bigger. All right, so now when we click the heart, it should pulse. And it is. When we click the star, it should blink. When we click the check, it should be on. When we click the X, it should turn off. Okay, so all of that's working. Cool. All right. I mean, it's a very basic app, but the app is working so far. Right? And you could probably apply some cool stuff to this. Let's see. Is there anything else I want to add? Not really. I'm satisfied with what I've got. So that's it for this lesson. Once you have gotten your app working the way you want it to, you can click Finish and continue. The next lesson we're going to be working on is lesson 4, Input Unplugged. That's it for now. Hope you guys have enjoyed this as much as I have.